Hello, my name is Benjamin Dare. I am a sales engineer here at Rondos. Most people know us as the company who helps customers get SAP data into platforms like Splunk for things like security, performance monitoring. But one of the little known and best advantages that we help customers with is getting functional business data also out of SAP and into Splunk dashboards, which you can use for any number of reasons. So here I just have an example of pulling sales data out of the VBAC table. Obviously, you create sales orders in transaction VA01. And so real quick, I'm just going to walk you through how I created a custom extractor to be able to pull this information and get it into Splunk. All of this information is in the documentation provided by Software One. So I'll kind of be walking through this knowledge base article. Hopefully my video will make this easier for you if you decide to do this on your own. So let's jump into it. So the first thing that the documentation tells us to do is to create a subclass that's inherited from the CLEXT superclass. So in order to do that, we would go to SE24 or the class builder. I've already got that created here. So in order to create this, basically you would just use the super and then hit copy. So we'll just take a look at this real quick and see what we did. The very first thing you have to do is it says, you have to make sure that this is inherited from the superclass. So in order to do that, you go into the code level and you just basically say, hey, this is inherited. And you can see that here, inheriting from the superclass. So once we've copied and made sure that it's inherited from the superclass, there are a couple of changes that we need to make. And the first one here you'll see is in the perform metric calculation. And so this is really where you get into a little bit of ABAP code, but we're defining the table it is that we are pulling that data from. And you'll notice here in the code there's these GT, EQ, GE, and that data, what those mean is actually in the documentation for the custom table data extraction. Again, and this documentation is available from Software One. So you can see if you scroll down here a little bit, it just gives you the operators. So we're basically just checking to see in this code if the dates of the fields inside of the VBAC table for creation fall within a certain time range, so that we want to go ahead and send that data over to Splunk. So once we've created our new class, so that we have the code basically to extract the data, then we have to assign that to Power Connect. So if we go back to the home screen here and we log into Power Connect for Splunk, the first thing we have to do is actually set up the extractor to run on a given interval and activate it. So these are all the out-of-the-box extractors, but since I named this with a Z, we're going to scroll to the bottom. And you'll see here I've already created the entry, but this ZVA03, VA03 for sales orders, and VBAC is the table that we're extracting from. I've set the interval here to 60 for a demo that I'm doing. You probably don't need it to be sent every minute in a production environment, but I want to be able to create a sales order and then show the customer that I'm sending this data over to Splunk. So I've shortened the interval there, and then we've activated it. So that's just our extractor or group definition name. But we need to assign the class that we created to that definition. So the next thing we do is go over here. And again, we're in the Z's, so I'm going to scroll down. And you can see here that group definition that I just scheduled is assigned to this class that I created, copying from super and setting my table that I wanted to extract that data from. So once I create a sales order, it'll actually send that data over to Splunk. And I can see, again, so these are the panels that I created just based on some of the data that got pulled over. But if I do now a search for this function module or class that I created from that SAP system, if I sort by the user myself, I'm Ben Dare, I can look to see sales orders that I created in the last 7 days. And so you'll see my name here and an order that I created on July 12th. So from today's date, about a week ago. So in short, yeah, I followed this documentation. We were able to, create a dashboard using custom data extractors, pulling sales data from Splunk. I hope this was helpful for you. If you like it, smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you very much. One thing I forgot to mention in the demo I showed earlier about the custom table extractor, I did that for a standard table, but a lot of customers ask us how they can get this data out for Z tables. Customers obviously create custom code, store data in Z tables all the time, and so just want to mention real quickly that a potential use case for this functionality is to extract data from Z tables, and you can see here that that's also called out in the documentation. So feel free to use this for extracting any kind of data that you want out of SAP. Thank you.